Recently I've just been watching stuff, doing my thing. I watched the recent Get a Robo series, and man, it's very strange right there. I don't think I talked about Monster Infinity yet. Yeah, I haven't talked about it yet. The movie's alright. I kind of like the 2D animation over the CGI. CGI is weird, texture issues, other stuff like that. We'll talk about it in that video. But basically, Get a Robo Arc is a very strange anime. The manga absolutely extraordinary. Freaking art in the manga is insane. Obviously, since the anime, of course, if it's an anime, can't replicate it, so they have to go corners, and of course CGI. Same thing for Monster Infinity. I'm pretty sure probably the same studio or something, maybe, but the animation for Monster Infinity was absolutely way better in terms of the 2D animation. That joint was insane. As for Get a Robo Arc, 2D animation, it's very serious issues. Okay, I'll talk about it right now. So let's talk about something. So the 2D animation has to get split into three different parts. You have so the main character, his animation, it's always consistent. So it does this thing where it's like, okay, since he's very expressive, he's very expressive, he's very serious, he doesn't have any self control, of course he's gonna, have flaws in his animation, of course. But it doesn't excuse the fact that there's flaws in his animation, right? As for the guy with the yellow hair, he always, for some strange reason, always has flaws in his animation, especially in his facial animations, especially in the way he's looking at things. His eye contact sometimes looks strange, trust me. As for the big guy, he can look strange sometimes. It depends on which angle they're going for. It's very strange sometimes. But the 2D animation is alright. Is the CGI better? No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not. It's not good at all. It, it has some polish. It has some polish, but this 2D, not even 2D CGI. CGI is just not. It's not good at all. It's there. It doesn't do it justice. No, it doesn't. I've watched Shin. I haven't even talked about Shin. I haven't talked about Armageddon yet. I've watched Shin. I've watched Armageddon. I've watched most of them, right? And now watching Arc as the continuation of them. The manga, having read the manga and come to the anime, of course I'm gonna notice some serious issues. The manga has some crazy detail. You would expect them not to be able to animate that. It's some crazy detail. The lines in there are amazing. Very detailed manga right there. I don't think that can never be animated, but it's possible. Don't always prove me wrong, but it. A lot of issues with the anime. I don't know where to begin. The Getter doesn't feel like Getter at all. Honestly, it's not even called Getter. It's called the Getter Robo. They do this thing in the show where it's like the big guy, the guy who's bald, he has a brother, and basically his brother somehow piloted together without. He piloted a Getter without having to pull the controls. Very strange ideas right now. And he says the line "Getter is Getter" makes no sense because I thought the line was what is Getter Robo? You're trying to understand what Getter Robo is. I never thought it was Getter. What is Getter? Getter is Getter. It makes no sense at all. There's some serious problems here, as you can tell. At least Jin feels like himself. I watched the dub, by the way. There's nothing wrong with the sub. I watched the dub, by the way. Characters feel like themselves. I don't like the overusage of Ryoma. He's gone. Why do we need him for? I understand he was the pilot or whatever. Sure, they gave him his helmet, which is a really good thing right there. They gave him his father's helmet. Fine, but the fact that they overuse him, like for example, it's like what if Naruto picked up something? They're like, oh, just like your father. They just constantly bring up just like your father. Just imagine that constantly. That's basically overusing the original character. That's just they just built this thing, this idea. That's what they're doing here. They're constantly using Ryoma over and over and over for plot convenience. That's and he's done. His career is done. He's not here anymore. They always constantly use him as something. I understand and give him something, fine. As reference, fine. But then they constantly use him over and over as something, as a plot point. For some strange reason, they brought back Go. Go pilots a black Shin robo. I'm really trying to not get mad here, but pilots a black robo. Um, it's cool. I'm not really sure. Now I probably didn't talk about this, but Go in Armageddon felt really like a he felt really like a filler character. Honestly, I came in, I didn't know who he was. Didn't know who he was. I was like, oh, filler character. Seeing him in Arc, I felt like he could really redeem himself. I have to watch the versus one, that other OVA with Go in there. I have to watch that as well. That could probably help me understand more. But he, so he pilots the Black Shin robo, right? Um, it's an interesting thing right there, but it's just they just debuff Go for some reason. I don't. It's a bit of a redemption arc, I guess, but it's a bit of a disservice when he feels bland. I just that's the thing. Go sometimes in here he feels bland, right? And it's so strange. So especially when he does his like attacks and stuff, he feels something feels off. Maybe it's the CGI. Maybe it's him just being excessive and just not right. There's just something wrong here. Arc doesn't feel like an anime. It feels like to me that they're using the original characters as a way to tell a story. So I mean, like honestly, I don't know what to say right now. I don't. It's just like I'm done. But I mean, like, hey, I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess I just do this for a living.